Five in a row for the Indiana Pacers. Can you believe it? I don't even know if many thought that this would happen after the team fell to 10-15 or 9-14 after losses to Toronto and Brooklyn. But that's many in a row the Pacers have won after their win over Golden State. Monday night, Tony East here. I covered the team for Forbes. Much to discuss in this little 8-ish minute recap of Pacers-Warriors. Really fun game. Really, two teams throwing punches left and right. Lots of runs back and forth. Many runs, but still runs nonetheless. Lots of interesting strategy rotationally for both teams in this game. But the Pacers trending up, Warriors trending a little down, and the Pacers escape Golden State with a win. Pacers back to 500 for the first time since they were 5-5. Looking good heading into Christmas. Their defense looks great, and that to me is the story of the game. 105 for this Golden State Warriors team that's had a really nice season scoring the ball for all the ups and downs that they've had. Their offense has still been among the best in the league. Steph Curry obviously still has that kind of gravity, and Golden State can score above average offense entering this game, and their defense is obviously what carries them. The Pacers are able to score against them, but to hold that team to 105 in their house is impressive without even considering the most important part of the Pacers' defensive night, holding Steph Curry to 10 points on 13 shots, and one guy deserves so much credit for that. It's Andrew Nembhard, who on a back-to-back Pacers held down his minutes last game. Who knows what the reasoning specifically for that was, but if it was so he could defend well in this game, boy, did it work. Nembhard played 33 and a half minutes in this one, defended Steph for a majority of them, and Curry only hit 2 shots. He did not make a single one of his 4 2-pointers. He did lots of good things. He had 7 assists in this one. As Rick Carlisle pointed out after the game, when Steph Curry's out there, his gravity alone creates so many layups. Carlisle said he thinks 7 layups were just because of Steph Curry gravity, right? That is a huge testament to why he's a former MVP and how he still had a plus-minus of +6 despite being 2 of 13. But that +6 would have been plus way more if he was actually hitting shots or not being pestered all night by Nembhard and others. And that is what the Pacers did to win this game, is they really limited the Warriors' stars. And Steph, of course, is the guy that they did a great job on. And hold the Warriors to 105 is incredible. Warriors 12 of 38 from deep. They missed 6 free throws. The Pacers kept it even in the turnover battle. They were right there, only down 1 in the rebounding battle. They did a pretty good job protecting the paint. Miles Turner with some emphatic blocks in this game. All that came together for a really great Pacers defensive performance. That extends to Draymond Green as well. Draymond hit his first 3-pointer of the game and then missed all of his next 4 shots and missed 3 free throws. So yes, he had 4 points on 5 shots. He always does lots of other good stuff besides scoring, but that's the Warriors' best 2 players combining to go 3 for 18. I know no one thinks of Draymond as an offensive threat because he's not primarily that. He's still a fantastic player. And 3 for 18 is abysmal for basically any duo in the NBA. So a bunch of credit to the Pacers for that. They struggled with some Warrior size in this game. I think that Steve Kerr might regret some of his rotational decisions, but the Pacers took advantage of those decisions and had another wonderful defensive game. That has been the theme to me of their recent resurgence back into relevance in the standings, has been guarding, playing really good defense against good NBA teams, holding the Kings to under 100 in their recent win in Sacramento. 111 for the Suns, who are a very good offensive team with Kevin Durant. 104 for the Pelicans, right? They've just been holding teams down. Basically, since they won in Chicago, their defense has looked absolutely sensational. And that's not even tongue-in-cheek. The Pacers' defense has been, I think, over the last 7 games, top 10 in the NBA. Hard to fathom for a team that, for much of the season, looked rough on that end of the floor. Right after Ben Shepherd got hurt, they were dreadful on that end of the floor. They found some footing there, and that's been huge in them turning this thing around. When they can flow from defense to offense, they just look so good. I thought that was happening a lot in this game, even without the Warriors turning it over. The Pacers are doing a good job off of misses or just in general pushing the tempo and getting into their stuff offensively. And speaking of offense, the story of this game offensively was very similar to the story for me in Sacramento for the Pacers offensively. And that's the front court really stepping up for the Pacers in a game that could get screwy in the backcourt. Steph Curry is amazing. Buddy Hield can shoot the lights out at any moment. Lots of good guards on that Warriors team. Podziemski's been playing better after a down start to the year, right? You just never know how that could end up shaking out. Of course, Haliburton's been playing much better too. But if the front court battle was won by the Pacers, that could make that come out in the wash at least. And it went even more towards the Pacers than I could have predicted. Miles Turner, a fantastic game. Following up maybe his best defensive game of the season in Sacramento. He did an awesome job on Sabonis with a double-double in Golden State. 23 points, including the dagger 3 late, a huge shot. Pacers up 2. They have the ball with about 15 seconds to go. I can't remember exactly how much time was left on the clock. Turner steps into space for a 3 from the left slot. Buries it to put the Pacers up 5. They never had any danger the rest of the night. They made their free throws and played good enough defense. He walks back on defense, counting 3 fingers on his hand. He earned a moment like that with the road trip he had. He was very good and has been very good for the Pacers of late. He's shooting the ball well this year and did again in this game. 23 points, obviously huge for him. 3 blocks, all of them very emphatic, like on a hard layup coming his way or just a quick attack. He was all over. And 10 boards, double-double for Turner. He was plus 18 in this game, and that was only the 3rd best mark on the Pacers. Some other guys had big nights as well. And then Siakam, who had a slow first half. It didn't feel like one of his better games early. In this one, he really came alive in the second half on his way to 20 points. He had 5 boards and 2 steals as well. Just a stabilizing force. And I thought he was important because of something I mentioned earlier about Steve Kerr. I thought Steve Kerr might go to bigger lineups more. Those lineups were working pretty well at times for Golden State. They'd go to some combination of Draymond, Wiggins, and Kuminga out there. And the Pacers bench really struggled with that. They always were getting matchups on switches, punishing inside. All of a sudden, Pascal Siakam would come in against those groups, and he could really cook it up with his size, shoot over some of those guys, make it less easy to just switch off of him. And all of a sudden, the Pacers had a little more flow, a couple more ways to score. I thought that was a big adjustment in the middle of the fourth quarter for the Pacers to get back to him. Those 2 in the front court, 43 points for the Pacers. The only 20-point scores for the Pacers in this game were those 2 guys. Other nice nights, Ben Mathurin defensively has been better, continued to be in this game. Even though his shot has not been falling. Tyrese Halliburton did not make threes and still found a way to be efficient in this one. He was 4 for 4 on his 2s and had 12 assists, 16 and 12 for Halliburton. And Nembhard just loves playing the Warriors. 15 points for Andrew Nembhard. All the starters did something. Nembhard's return has just been incalculably huge for this Pacers team. And I thought the bench stepped up in a big way too. In the first half, they weren't very good. I thought that was something concerning for the Pacers. It was a back-to-back early third quarter. The Warriors are pushing a little bit. I tweeted this. You can go find it. I said the bench is going to be huge in this third quarter because the Pacers looks tired, and if that bench group can come in, give energy, give some effectiveness on offense, that could be huge for the Pacers. They did. They got the lead as high as, I believe, 12. McConnell hit 3 threes. TJ McConnell, he made 3 threes all season before this game, hit 3 in this game. Obi Toppin provided some speed, and all of a sudden the Pacers were back up big. They didn't hold that lead. It wobbled down. The Warriors tied it up and made it close again. But that stretch allowed the Pacers to hold on late and win their 5th in a row. Just unfathomable, this turnaround for the Pacers. I said it on the Locked On Pacers podcast. It wouldn't surprise me if this team was 10 games under 500. I said that when they were 10 and 15. And instead, they said, screw that. We're going the opposite way. We're figuring it out. That break time with practices during the NBA Cup was huge for them. They look great, and they're 500 heading into Christmas. We'll have more on this team on this channel as more games come. And for much more on this game, check out the Locked On Pacers podcast. Thanks for watching.